that team rap Jesus. My team go hard. My team rap Jesus. We about to go far. We about to go far.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fervently Creations. This is where we do marketplace ministry, where I believe that it is a safe place for your faith in what it is you're doing for his business to actually coexist. This is where we bring on people that are not only in the pulpits, but people that are actually taking the gospel, taking it outside, people that are exercising the Great Commission through whether it's books, through whether it is a business that they have or a venture that they have, whatever it is that they're doing. And so I love bringing on people just to kind of see exactly what they're doing. Listen, everyone is not called to the pulpit. Some of us have been called to the marketplace arena. Some of us have been called in the area of family, business. You got some people have been called in the area of politics, right? And so here I just love talking to people, just kind of see, hey, what area of influence, what spirit influence did God give you? And how are you using it to glorify his name? How are you using it to actually show the love of God? How are you using it to reach others, teach others, mentor others, raise others up, and actually do it? Listen, it's so many arenas, like especially like in the schools, where we need people that are saying, you know what, I'm called to the education system. I'm called to go in and mentor the youth. I'm called to go in and train them. And the way that he does it is through my teaching. I'm able to be in the classrooms with them. I'm able to teach them and show them love. I'm able to do whatever. I know some arenas or whatever is some restrictions on what you can say and what you cannot say. However, it is still a way to express love. It's still a way to express God. It's still a way to actually do the work of God sometime. And you don't even have to mention it. Listen, the book of Esther, it never mentions the name of God, but it still made it into the 66 books, right? So that is how I just love talking to people and just trying to see, hey, what are you doing? Because some of us are called to, like I say, aisle 13 in Walmart, right? That's your pulpit for today. But as I always say, remember that there are 5 gospels. It's Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and you. Sometimes the only one they pay attention to, the only one that they give credit to is the last one that I mentioned, which is you. So what are you doing once they actually come in contact with you? How are you making them feel? How are you treating them once they actually come in contact with you, right? So that is Fervently Creations. I would love to interview you. Go ahead, schedule your show. Go to my website, www.ferventlycreations.com, and schedule your show. One thing that I do want to add, which stuff that you can also see on my website, is some things that I have going on right now in the marketplace as well. Fervently Intense, my perfume line. If you have not, make sure you go and get you a bottle of it, or get the lotion. The body wash has been sold out already. So if you would like to, if you like perfume, and especially if you have sensitive skin, or you just like organic products, this is the perfume line for you. It is oil-based. It does have a hint of frankincense and myrrh in it as well. It has a citrus blend as well in it. I really do love this perfume. It is awesome to be able to, once people go out and say, hey, what are you wearing? I'm wearing me. I'm wearing Fervently Intense, right? Of my own perfume line. So make sure you go there. It is intense. Speaking of intense, make sure you pre-order Fervently Intense. Make sure you go ahead, get your pre-order out for Fervently Intense, which is a spiritual warfare book. This is where I give you revelation on what God has given me for as how to change up my prayer language once I'm actually praying spiritual warfare. A lot of times we're still using ancient weaponry, and so God started instructing me to switch it. And so this time, hey, we're calling it airstrikes on the enemy. So if you have not pre-ordered your book, make sure you go and get that taken care of. What Fervently Intense Also, I do have anthologies coming up. I have some more spots available. If you want to be part of one of two of my anthologies, the first one being I Am Not Okay. It's a lot of times we're walking around, and even ministry, are you going in school? We have a lot of people that are functional, but they're depressed at the same time, and some people are not. But tell people how you overcame it. If you overcame it, if you just got into a step to where you're better than what you used to be, how did you overcome whatever mental health issues that you may have? So that is what this one is about. I Am Not Okay. It both anthologies, including the next one that I'm going to mention, it has a chapter in the anthology. Your chapter will be edited. We'll do promotional graphics for you. You'll also have TV and radio show opportunities, multiple actually. And then you'll also have the opportunity for a speaking engagement. Those that are speakers, depending on which package you choose, you will have anywhere from 10 to 45 minutes to speak. And so this is also a speaking engagement as well, because it will be a virtual summit. So make sure you check into that one. The other one I have, yes. Everyone was asking about the next prisoner of war. We will be doing that one again. And so if you want to be part of that as well, that is the other anthology that we have coming up. So make sure you go ahead and sign up for those. I have released this one early because a lot of people are asking. So if you want to go ahead and reserve your spot, please do. Note that it is limited spaces on both. It is limited spaces on both. Again, speaking opportunities as well with this. We will be doing a virtual summit as well as our in-person conference as well in Huntsville, Alabama, June 21st to June 23rd. So, and those that, depending on their package as well, they will be able to be interviewed at the conference. So make sure you check into both of those anthologies. You can go to my website, www.ferventlycreations, and where it says write with me, then I will, that is where we would do it. Listen, if you want to connect with me in any shape, form, or fashion, make sure you also go to it, or you can email me at booking@ferventlycreations.com. Let me know exactly how you would like to connect. I am a Christian mental health coach. I'm also a Christian life coach. If you want to, if you're interested in those, that's also on my website. I am also available for preaching assignments as well as interviews on different people's platforms as well. So however it is that you would like to connect, let's collaborate. There's no competition over in this area. I love collaborating with different people. So make sure that you are reaching out and you're connected. Hey, y'all, I have an amazing Bible verse today for us. We always start off with a Bible verse. And so the Bible verse that I have is, my comfort in my suffering is this: your promise preserves my life. Once I looked at preserves, I realized that was something was saying it maintains. Like once you go into something like forage jam or whatever, jelly or whatever, it preserves it. It keeps it in that state. Sometimes a lot of us are going through things that it may be financial issues. It just may be trauma. It may be whatever it is that is going on, whatever your suffering is. And please don't diminish yours just because somebody else looks like someone else. I was talking to my cousin, and our houses are different in square footage. And so, she was talking about her utility bill. And, we're all coming out of these summer months. And so everybody's utility bills is high during the summertime. But I was like, yeah, mine is this. And she was like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, your stress is your stress. Like, it does not diminish the fact that, hey, your utility bill is high. So in that, and my comfort in it was just like, you know what? Hey, I know financially we got this. We're gonna get through this. Like, I promise. So what has God promised you? Let me go back to it. What has God promised you? And sometimes we have to go back and focus on the promise, not the pain, not the suffering, not the issue. Once you start focusing on the problem, once you start focusing on the issue, once you start focusing on the trauma, once you start focusing on the negative words or the negativity, whatever part of it, once you begin to start focusing on it, that stuff will begin to actually hold you in. That's one reason why I love doing the mindset, the prisoner were in the mind. That is my baby. Why? Because a lot of people are allowing certain things that they have continued to focus on. They continue to focus on what somebody said. They continue to focus on what somebody did. They continue to focus on a mistake that they made, and then it becomes a war zone in their mind. And now they have become a prisoner of war within their own mind because of their thoughts. It changed your thoughts. Start thinking on, okay, God said this, that I know if God said it, that it's going to happen. And the only thing I have to do is continue to stay strong, continue to focus on his promises. Let his promises preserve your life. Let his promises be what motivates you. Let his promises be what encourage you to continue to keep going on, to keep going forward. But if you start listening today, and once you start listening to them, and once you start paying attention to what everyone else is doing, you will get off track. Focus on the promise of God. Some of you have gotten prophecies that you have forgotten about. Go back and start saying, you know what? This right here is what was prophesied over me. I know that it's going to happen. I don't see it right now. I don't see how I'm going to get there, but I'm continue to focus on what the prophecy said, because the prophecy is nothing but a direct message to you from God. So I'm going to continue to focus on what God has said about my life. God said that I will be a wife. God says that I will be a mom. So why am I going to continue to focus on the reports of the doctor once the doctor is saying that I'm unbearing, once that I cannot bear a child, that I cannot birth a child? Once not only have I been told that I was going to birth something, and birth something in the spiritual realm and the natural realm. Not only have I been told that, but I've seen it happen in the past. I know that it is witnesses that have said that they said that I could not birth anything, that they said that I couldn't carry anything, that they said I can't carry full term, that I would have complications in pregnancy. Though I've seen it, I'm going to stay on the focus and the promise of God that says that I will be a mother. I'm going to stay and focus on the thing that says that I'm going to be a wife. I keep meeting joker after joker after joker, or whatever, but I'm going to focus on the promises of God that says that I am a wife, that I will be married one day. And so once you begin to shift your focus, then things will begin to line up. But once you continue to stay in the negative, for one, it takes that time down a little bit slower, and make it seem like you're constantly going through, there's constantly pain, that you will never get there because you're so focused on the negative. I want to encourage everyone that's listening today, make sure that you are focusing on the promises of God, which will preserve your life. Make sure you focus on that. So with that, I'm going to bring up my guest today, and I would just want to hear what she has to say about this verse. Psalms 119:50, which says, my comfort and my suffering is this: your promises preserves my life. What do you have to say?
Hi, good morning. Good morning. So I would say my mindset, running a business by myself, was challenging. I had challenged myself to negative thinking, oh, I can't do it. I was scaring my own self. And then I took a leap of faith and I believed in God and what he said, that he would bring the clients in. I just have to do my part and go after my dreams. If that's what I want, then I'm going to go after that. But sometimes you have to change your mindset. Your mindset will trigger you, will have you thinking, that you can't do something, or you're afraid to do something, or you're afraid to move on, or in a relationship and everything that you do. But you have to start changing your mindset. I think your mindset, once you change your mindset, then everything else will come into place.
And that's good. Mindset is very, very important. I know it's some things in the church that are starting to become hot topics, and mindset is one of them, along with mental health. And so the mindset is important because some people can't even receive the promises of God. They can't even receive the good words or the positive or the prophecies. They can't receive the deliverance or whatever because of their mindset. And so until their mindset changes, until their mindset shifts, everything else stays the same. So you have to begin to shift your mindset. You have to begin to move and say, you know what, hold on, something got to give. So enough is enough. I have to shift my mindset to say, you know what, I can do this. I can continue this business. Though it's hard, though it may seem like a struggle, but I can do it. It's not going to be easy for everyone.
No.
Too much is given, much is required. It's requiring a lot
Exactly.
of me right now. It's requiring a lot of time. But I will focus on the promises of God. I understand that faith without works is
Dead.
and so therefore I have to continue to do the work and continue to increase my faith at the same time, because as I continue to do the work, as I stay steadfast in my faith, now I'm going to see the promise that he has promised me for my business. I'm going to see the promise that he had for me for my books. I'm going to see the promise that he had for me for my vision. I'm going to see exactly what thus says the Lord for my life. If I continue to focus and focus on his promises and preserve my life.
Yes.
Wow. That's good. That's good. So once it comes to it, like comforting in myself, comfort in my suffering, comfort in my suffering. What is a way that just like, you know what, this is how I comfort myself during suffering?
I fast.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in fasting. So when I feel like it's too much for me, I turn my plate over and I give everything to God. Sometimes you can't do everything on your own. You got to lean on God. And I believe that leaning on God will help you understand where you need to go and what direction he's trying to put you to.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome. A lot of times we have to deny our flesh, deny your flesh through fasting, deny your flesh and begin to fill up your spirit, man. And I know that some people disagree with this belief, but even once it comes to turning down your plate, some of us, we need to turn down social media. Sometimes we need to turn down people. Sometimes we need to turn down that telephone. Sometimes we need to turn down a lot more than our place, because it is a lot more that is distracting a lot of us, and we're allowing certain things to filter into our system. We are digesting negativity. We're digesting the world. We're digesting other people's world. Once we need to be in that position of fasting, once we need to be in a state of fasting, we need to actually turn down more than our plate sometimes, because sometimes it ain't our food that is hurting us. It's the conversations that we're engaging in. It's the people that came and circled around us during those moments. And so we have to actually get into a state to where we say, you know what? In my comfort, to comfort me in my suffering, then I'm going to go get on my face. Some of us need to do some carpet ministry during that time. Just get straight out on your face, pray and fast. Some things only come out through prayer and fasting. So
yes, it does. It definitely does. Yes. But once you start fasting, you start removing things that no longer deserve you. Either friends, relationship, social media. You start limiting yourself in everything. Television, because all that is toxic, and sometimes that can control who you are or where you're going. So I learned to remove myself from a lot of things that I used to, want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell our audience today exactly who do we have the pleasure of speaking with today.
Hi guys, so my name is Jennifer Arzu. I'm a children's author. I'm an entrepreneur. I have a clothing line as well. My shirt, I have a sweater on now. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it says "Never give up on yourself." And I think that you have to stay true to yourself of who you are and where you want to go. I also have a children's book. It's called "The Pain of Losing a Dear One." So I'm a children's author as well. Um, I also have my degrees in the back, as you can see. I have a master's in criminal justice, and I also want to. I have a woman empowerment dinner that's coming out December 2nd. So I'm trying to gather everyone together. Yes, and I want to empower other women.
Awesome. Listen, such a multifaceted woman. I don't even know where to start at first, but I think I'm gonna go to this shirt. With you being a multifaceted woman, he has you here, and he got you to where you are able to go into different arenas. How was it once it came to that, never give up on yourself. Once you got that revelation, once you got that word, and it was just so powerful to stick to you that you decide to brand off of that. What was that moment like?
So I went through a trauma, and that trauma had me in a headlock. And I started asking God, where do you want me to go? And he just came into my dreams and he told me, I want you to teach young kids to believe in themselves. And through my trauma, I was able to teach young kids to never give up, to always stay steady, stay positive. To there's never gonna be a situation you're in that's gonna be given to you. You're gonna have to work for it. But whatever it is that comes your way, just never give up. No matter how it may seem, the path is gonna get lighter. Like they say that the storm only lasts but for so long. But you have to just believe in yourself and walk with that faith that you're not going to give up no matter how it looks.
That's awesome. I love how you said that you were instructed, you was mandated by God to teach children to believe in themselves. I remember as a child seeing a question. I can't remember who had posted, but it was a question on Facebook, and it said, "If you had been your childhood dream, what would you be today?" And other people, they had their different comments, and someone was saying, I'm walking in my childhood dream. But honestly, even as a child, I had gave up on myself, and so my childhood dream was just to work in Waffle House. Never is to this day, still never worked in Waffle House. But I didn't even dream big. I didn't have vision because I had already given up on myself as a child. In my youth. And I'm not saying this was my dream in elementary. I mean, high school, I had already given up on that dream, on a vision of anything. And that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to work in Waffle House and be able to call the orders and say, scatter, covered, smothered, like that was my thing. I wanted to work in Waffle House. And so I did not dream big. And so I think it's very, very good to be able to actually get into that arena and teach kids at a young age, never to give up on themselves, because once you can catch them at that young age, it helps them in that adulthood. It helps cultivate that at such a young age. Never give up on yourself. That is amazing.
Yes. So, and like you said, I'm sorry. When I was in 5th grade, my teacher told me I wasn't going to be anything. I was very shy. And one time he told me, he said, you're not going to be nothing. You're not even going to go to college. And if I see him today, I would have been like, I went to college. Like, I did everything you told me I wasn't able to do. And I mastered it. Exactly. So that was hurtful for me. Even my child, sometimes I have a son, he keeps telling me, oh, mommy, I don't think I should play basketball no more. And I'm telling him, never give up. No matter what nobody say, they don't have the last say so. God has the last say so. And if you believe in God, you know that other people's opinion doesn't matter. And I'm teaching him that. I was teaching him that since he was a kid. I used to have him go to the mirror, and he had to tell me what he saw of himself. And I would tell him he's a Black king, and start talking positive. So to this day, he still tells himself, I'm a Black king. I'm like, you have to motivate these kids now. And like you said, because we have social media are eating these kids' brain cells. And it's nothing positive in social media. So we have to bring positivity as much as possible back to this in the schools, at home. As much as you can do, bring it back to them so they can believe in themselves now. Because if you can teach them while they're young, that's where the power comes from.
Yeah, so, that's one of the reasons why I say everybody's not called to the pulpit. Some of us are called into the realm of education. Some of us are actually called into the realm of media. Why? Because you have those people that go in and tell these kids that at such a young age, and it sticks with them that, they would never be nothing. They would never amount to anything. And like that was, Steve Harvey, I think he has a testimony that's similar to it. and that's what he was kind of he was kind of told. And I want to say, every year by that same teacher, he goes and for years was buying her, with TV, like, just so she's able to continue to watch me on TV, a place that she said I would never be. But sometimes we tell people that, and our teachers in that arena tell people that. Same thing with social media. It is so much negative on social media or through media, period. So where are the Christians that say, you know what, let me flood it with positivity, let me go in and do something different, let me give them something that while they're scrolling, that they're going to get a message, they're going to get a word. And so that's where it goes, of knowing what sphere of influence that you're called to, or whatever, because you will have people that will coach you along. Even counselors, you go to marriage counseling and they're coaching you along for getting a divorce versus showing you actually how to work through the things for the marriage. So you have to make sure that you go into that we are being used in the realm and what God has called us to, in that sphere of influence, because it's people that need us, it's people that need us in those areas. You actually mentioned something, speaking with children, I think that is so important with your book. And it's a children's book. A lot of times we hear adults talking about how to overcome a loss of a loved one. And but what happens to the children? I remember as a child, and my uncle being murdered before my eyes and stuff. But a lot of people during that time, they was comforting the adults naturally, because a son was lost, a brother was lost, a husband was lost, a father was lost in that time. But it was also tragic for me, traumatizing for me as a child. I had also lost a uncle. I had actually witnessed the murder as well. So once it comes to showing people, like, are teaching the youth and how to handle a loss of a loved one, how do you move in that arena? How do you help in that?
So, as a child, I was never taught about death. My mother never talked about death. She never, or my father, they never told us about what to do when someone's passed away. So I didn't go through death until I was, I didn't have someone pass away until I was 32. That was closer to me. So I lost my brother, and then I lost my father 10 days apart. So losing them, I didn't know how to grieve myself. So when my son was asking questions, and he was like 5 years old, 6 years old, I couldn't answer him. He wanted to know why them, why grandpa, why uncle, and I had no answer to it. Um, but then I didn't take his feelings into consideration either, because yes, it affected me, but I know it also affected my son. Um, and as he got older, he asked me like, "Mommy, I have questions," and I was like, "Okay, what's your questions?" And I had to learn to take his grieving into um in consideration, because I wasn't. I was just thinking about me, how I'm gonna get through it. So I know there's kids like my son all over that has questions that don't know how to answer it, and parents who don't know how to tell their kid about death. So this is why the book, The Pain of Losing a Dear One, was close to me, because I didn't know how to go through it as a child. So when it came to me teaching my son, I couldn't teach my son because I was never taught as a child myself. Grievance comes in all different forms. My son, he started acting up in school, and I didn't know why he was acting up in school, but I also wasn't hearing him as well. Um, I took him to therapy, and that's where I found out that he was sad that his grandpa died and his uncle died. And that's how. So therapy is one thing that I think I suggest kids should go to if you can explain to your child why someone passed away. But do not brush your child off, because there's going to be questions that he or she wants to know. And if you can't answer the questions, then this book will help you learn how to answer questions about grieving and about taking your kids' questions into consideration.
Yeah, and that's real good because that is kind of hard to explain, especially once you're in the process of grieving yourself.
Yes.
You know, we can be in the process of grieving ourselves, and that was the situation with my family during that time. They was in a process of grieving themselves, so they didn't know how uh, to help me in my grief or in my trauma at the same time because they were still getting over like a traumatic death or an unexpected death of a loved one as well. So that is very good of actually
Yes.
taking that time in therapy, not being afraid of therapy. And I think we have to take that negativity, that negative stigma off of actually going and getting counseling, getting help. I believe counseling is very good for people. But one of the things that you also mentioned is that paying attention to the signs in the child and the difference and stuff, because sometimes their grief does not look like our grief, and so and a lot of kids are getting mistaken as being resilient, being able to bounce back from something, and it's not that they're bouncing back or able to bounce back. It's just that their grief is showing a little bit different. They're forced, especially elementary, they're forced to continue to get up and kind of go play. It's playtime, it's recess time. This is time we go outside and play. This is once we're going, and so they're masking it in that way. But so people thinking, oh no, he went to school, he was playing and everything's not realizing like, he's not okay.
He's gonna, or he or she's gonna act up in a different way. You understand? It's gonna come out. I didn't know. I didn't put his feelings into consideration, like I said earlier. So he was definitely acting out, and I was like, okay, I took this toy away. That didn't work. All right, now I'm putting him to bed early because no playtime. That didn't work. So I was like, because therapy wasn't, also in my generation, we didn't have therapy, was like a crime to go to. It's not like a crime, but no one really went. It was a stigma. My parents didn't take us to therapy, or when someone passed away, they would just say, oh, they in heaven. But I'm like, okay, what does that mean? As I got older, I still didn't know. Or they went away, or my mother would say they went away, and I'm like, okay, maybe they left, not knowing that they passed away. But she's tried to ignore the fact that they was past, like to put us, I guess, into pressure or to be sad or whatever. But because you never taught me, I had to wait till I was 32 to know the feeling of loss. And I don't want my child to go through what I went through at 32. So yes, he's going to grieve, but at least I can coach him on how to grieve, because I had to go myself to therapy to understand what death is like, and how I'm supposed to, move past that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What is your passion? You said this was your fourth children's book, correct?
This is my third children's book.
Third. Okay.
My next book, I want to do it's called Daily Affirmation for a Queen, and a Daily Affirmation for a King. So that way they can wake up and be motivated.
Awesome. What is your passion with the children books come in at?
What I went through. And I want to know, if I can go back to little old Jennifer, what would I tell her? That's what my passion comes from. If I can go back to that little girl, what would I tell that little girl, and how would I come through and feel better about myself, or solve the problem, or the little old girl that wasn't taught so much about grieving, about never giving up. Those are the things that my parents never taught me, but I can teach the kids that's coming up now, the new generation.
That's good. I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of going back and healing that little boy or healing that little girl in us, and how that unhealed child in us is affecting our days in our adulthood, like and because of that trauma from our childhood, or or whatever it is, or just the mindset, how we perceive the world in our childhood, it is affecting how we communicate, how we engage with other people in life. And so until you actually go back and heal that little girl or heal that little boy, then it's going to be issues that's going to continue to arise, especially once it comes into relationships and marriages.
Mhm.
You know, you both cross a threshold, but you're crossing it with baggage from the little boy and the little girl in you. And those two kids,
Yes.
if they get together, is different, because some of our mindsets, we have not put away the childish ways. We have not put away our childish thinking, our childish mindset. They have just continued to move on with us from birthday to birthday to birthday to birthday. And so it's still that little boy and that little girl that
Mhm.
needs to get healed. So I think a lot of marriages, but a lot of, not just marriages, but a lot of stuff, people will go further if they take the time to say, let me go back and address this little girl. Let me go back and get this little girl from crouching down in a corner, asking to be saved, asking to be protected, asking to be heard. If I go back and listen to that little girl in me that had that felt like she had no voice, or felt that no one felt unseen, if I go back and let that little girl know, hey, I see you, I hear you, I believe in you, I have faith in you, and empower them. So
Exactly. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to heal the little old Jennifer. Uh, um, some people don't understand, but you go through traumas and you try to ignore it. Um, but it affects your daily life as you get older. So the older I got, the more I'm still bringing that trauma with me. In
yeah,
relationship or friendship, the trust issues. You don't know where it comes from, but it comes from that little old place that you never solved.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. So let's talk about you have a women's empowerment thing. So
Yes.
you're shifting a little bit. Not,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you're coming off of but you're shifting a little bit and going into a different field this time. And so now, got the devotionals coming up for the men and women to empower them. But you mentioned earlier too that you have an empowerment um, coming up for women. Let's talk.
Yes, I have a empowerment dinner. This is going to be my second year, um, because we go daily. Every woman, we go with our traumas, and we don't get to solve them. So we bring them with us every year, and we wonder why we're still heavy from the shoulders. With the reason why we are heavy is because we are not letting go the past. And in order to go to the 2024, you have to let go of the past to become a better person, a better woman, a better mother, a better daughter, a better friend. So I have dinners, a little small set of dinner with a couple of people, and we just talk about what's holding us back. It could be fear of moving on. It could be being a mother, a single mother. Sometimes that could be a lot on a woman, and we just take it on. We just brush it off, but inside we are hurting. So I try to, break down the trauma and see how they can move on next year. How next year would be better if they let go the problems that are affecting them now.
Yeah. And so even once it comes to that, for us letting go, let's talk about the dangers of holding on. You kind of you touched on it a little bit, but let's
Hmm.
go a little bit deeper in the dangers of holding on to the past, holding on to the trauma.
Oh, so if you keep holding on to the trauma, there's so much out there for you that you are letting go by. You're passing by. Um, but I think if you continue if you don't get healed, if you don't get saved, if you don't let it go, you have to learn to let it go. Um, like I said, pain are temporary, and if you keep holding it, you're just going to be stuck. And a lot of us are stuck either on fear, on not healing, on blaming others. But if you look deep down inside, you can remove all of that if you let it go. If you let go and start healing. Those are, if you let go of the trauma and start healing on yourself, everything will be, you will see the blossom that God has on you, the purpose that God has for you, if you start letting go.
I love that you keep using the term letting go, because I'm currently actually in a, or just finished up with doing a research study on healing adverse childhood experiences through biblical forgiveness. Biblical forgiveness requires us to let go. It requires us to yield it up, to release it completely, release the person from the offense. And so once it comes to letting go, one of the parts of healing from our childhood, healing from our trauma, healing from the bad relationship, healing from whatever misuse or whatever it is, and even ourselves, we actually have to practice biblical forgiveness of letting go. How do you implement, or how do you feel on forgiveness in as it relates to letting go and healing from trauma?
So if you forgive the person, even if it's something that they did traumatic to you, that hurt you, or you would give yourself enough grace, enough to move on with your life. It's not easy said than done, and I know that. For instance, I'm gonna take my trauma. So I think I told you last episode I was harassed, and I was holding on to being the victim for so long. Yes, I am the victim, but I have to forgive them so I can move on. I think the only reason why my business is up because I moved on. I have to break through. I have to forgive them, even if they hurted me, and which they definitely did. But I have to forgive them because that's what God wanted me to do. He wanted me to forgive them because He has so much in store for me that if I keep holding on to what hurt me, I'm not looking in. I'm not looking in front of me of the blessings that He has coming my way. So it will block me from moving on. It will block me from my business. It will block me from my friendship. It will block me from my relationship. And I'm at that point where I want to move on. I want to forgive them for what they have done to me, but I want to move on to what God have in store for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Once it comes to, you mentioned being harassed, but also see that your master's is in, you said criminal justice.
Criminal justice.
So what was your passion behind criminal justice?
'Cause I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to get back at those people that did hurt me because I didn't know the rules of harassment. Um, I think I knew I was being harassed at work, but I didn't know if I had a case or if my case was sustained. Um, I wanted to learn on my own what exactly is acceptable at work and what is not workplace environment. And I didn't know that. Um, but I also knew that they was harassing me. I knew what they was doing, but I couldn't put my finger to it because I didn't know it. For myself.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give back to those that don't know it themselves. A lot of people are being harassed at work, home, um, and don't know that they know that they're being harassed, but they don't know how to go about it, should I say. So I, like I said, I was harassed. I knew that they was harassing me, but I didn't know the law for it. And I wanted to go back just to get a sense of, okay, I knew this wasn't right. I knew this wasn't right. Okay, I knew this was, for myself so that I can help others
Yeah.
understand what they're going through if they're going through workplace and harassment just like me.
So you said, going back to your shirt, never give up on yourself, and
Mm-hmm.
saying you wanted to be a lawyer. So have you considered looking into the realm of workplace? I think it's workplace or work enforcement lawyers, or have you looked into that arena?
I'm still looking to it. I'm looking into it. But right now I'm focused on my business and making sure I succeed. Like that's where my heart is at right now.
Yeah.
So at one point it was to be a lawyer, to go to law school, but then turn me around to something else. And I see a lot of kids that are needed. My sister, who is an ATS worker, she tells me stories, how some kids are not productive because, no one told them how important they were.
Yeah.
Um, so that's where my heart is at right now.
That's good. I love that you're saying like right now you're focusing on your business, on your ministry. Can I call
Yes.
it
On
that?
my purpose.
On your purpose. You you
On my
are you
purpose.
are you are purposefully walking in your purpose, right?
Yes.
And sometime in marketplace ministry, we have these dreams and we have these visions, and we don't know which one to put on the shelf just for the moment. Just say it's just like you're having babies after babies after babies. Just like, okay, hold on, I got to get this one walking first. I gotta get this
Yes.
one out of pull-ups. Like I gotta get this one out of Pampers first. And so
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, once it comes to having kids back to back, is I remember being pregnant with my son and thinking, okay, I really got to get my daughter potty trained because I can't do both diapers at the same time. I really got to go ahead and get her potty trained and trying to figure out exactly how to actually get her potty trained, how to get her, um, you know, more self-sufficient and stuff
Mm-hmm.
on stuff. And so sometimes I think those of us that are in the marketplace ministry,
Mm-hmm.
especially us that are multifaceted, sometimes we have
Mm-hmm.
to sit back and say, hold on, let me get this baby off walking first. Let me get her walking to where they're able to go and do where it's able to feed itself. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Yep.
word
There
where
you go.
the baby is feeding itself
Mm-hmm.
versus instead of me trying to nurse two different kids, instead of me having to fix bottles for two different ones, at least this one can feed itself while I'm
Mm-hmm.
nursing this one. All right. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that balance is very important.
Important. Mm-hmm. Yep.
So talk to us just about balance, just balance work like with balance with everything, trying to balance out what I'm gonna call your ministry, but also business at the same balance in marketplace ministry.
So, at first, I didn't know how to balance. I was trying to juggle both at the same time. Um, but I asked God, where do you want me to go? This morning, he also told me, he said, Jennifer, um, because I couldn't sleep. So I'm like, why I can't sleep? But he said, Jennifer, your heart is also at St. Jude's Children's Hospital, where he kept telling me like this. That's where your heart's at. That's where you put money at. So do a sweater, for those children that are in the hospital. Um, so I'm like, but God, I have this in my hand. Like, so where you want me to go? Like, and he said, I got you. And when he told me he got me, sometimes you have to go to the Lord and just ask him, where do you want me to go? You give you I'm blessed that you're giving me all these ideas, but where do you want me to go first? Because sometimes you ask yourself, you want to do everything, but sometimes you just gotta to really tell yourself how you're going to balance everything, how you're going to be a mother, how you're going to work, and how you're going to work on your own business. It seems easy, but it's not. It's a lot of effort and time that you're consuming that you have to put into your business. Especially if you by yourself and you're a single person running your own business.
Yeah.
So balancing is a lot. But if you're passionate about what you have in front of you, then just work on that at this moment. Work on whatever you're passionate about. So I'm passionate about the children. So that's where my effort is at, instead of going to law school.
I love it. I love it. So if you could talk to if say if it's just a woman that is watching this episode right now
Mm-hmm.
and they just need some encouragement, need some empowerment through whatever trauma that they may be dealing with, what would you say to them in this very moment?
Um, that everything is temporary. You're going to get through it. Um, as long as you fast and you pray and you give it to God. But whatever you're going through, just never give up. There is a road for each and every one of us women out here, that we have to stay strong, that we got this. Um, And if you need to surround yourself with people that love you, that want to see you win, definitely do that. Surround yourself with people that want to see you win, that's going to lift you up. But understand that everything is temporary, that God got you, that there's so much out there in store for you. Just keep your head up and never give up. Never. No matter how the road may look. Um, Never give up. Never.
I love that you mentioned that it's so many other women out there that's rooting for you, cheering you on, and we have to actually make collaboration more talked about than what
Mm-hmm.
we do competition, and realizing that my sister to my left and my right, they're not my competition,
No.
especially when it comes to ministry. And I don't care whether you're an author, whether you're a gospel recording singer, whether you got a perfume line, whether we're doing the same thing, we're in the same arena, we're in the same area of influence. That once it comes to ministry, it's no competition. It
So
is you going to who your voice is assigned to, and me going to who my voice is assigned to. So I love that you mentioned that. So
yes.
if people would like to connect with you and collaborate with you,
Mm-hmm.
what are ways that they can reach out, or how can they find you?
So I have my email address is www.dg. That's my website. Sorry, www.dgws2022 at .com, and then I have an email address at dgws2022 at yahoo.com. I have Instagram as well, dgs2022, and as well as Facebook, DGWS Arzu, ARZU. So you can search me for those if you want to collaborate, you want to talk, um, and you want a sister to lift you up. I will definitely lift you up in prayer.
I thank you so much for coming out and connecting with us today and just letting us know exactly what it is that you have going on. God is truly using you in multiple areas. I love that He has called you to that area of of the youth, and I think that's very important to have Christian base, or people that have a faith, that have
Mhm.
believers that are actually writing children's books. That is going to encourage them, empower them as well. But also the fact that not only that you are encouraging the youth, but you're going after their parents as well, and saying, look, hey, let me hit it at the head. I hit it at the bottom, but let me hit it at the head as well. So I
Mhm.
love that you are actually
Thank you.
called to, it's like you're called to the spirit influence of family. And so
Mhm.
I love that that you're being obedient in it. You're taking your time, you're not rushing, and you're not overloading your plate as well. And so I thank you. You are welcome to come back
Thank you.
anytime.
Thank you for having me.
You're
And
awesome.
congratulations to you too on your perfume line.
Thank you. Thank
Welcome.
you. I just thought last time we talked, I did not have that line out.
No,
So
you didn't. Mm-mm.
so thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And listen, y'all make sure y'all go out and connect with her. If you're in the area, I think it's kind of obvious, but what area are we in? Where's
New
the
York.
Okay, so you're in the New York area, connect with her, figure out information on how to get to this women empowerment trip. I think it's going to be amazing. And there's a lot of
Thank you
people
so
that
much.
are having unhealed trauma, or don't even know where to start on how to get healed in their trauma. So if you have had trauma, whether it's adulthood or childhood, make sure you reach out, even if you're not in the area and can fly out there. Stay in contact with her, stay in communication with her, continue to follow her on social media platforms so you can get the information. And so if
Yes.
you're able to go out, that you are able to go out, support, but also get healed as well. And if there's things that you can add, I'm just going to add this in. If there's things
Mhm.
that you can donate that from your own ministry or whatever, that you may want to just say, hey, I want to donate stuff in their swag bags or in their gift bags, their registration bags, make sure you reach out to her. Donations are,
Yes.
so make sure you connect with her and collaborate at any level that you're able to, or support. So I thank you, Jennifer, for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
I'm sure we will see you again. So I will see you
Yes.
next time, but you're always welcome on the show.
Thank you so much.
So listen, everyone, if you want to connect and you want to come on this show, I forgot to mention earlier, go to Fervently Creations website, www.ferventlycreations.com, and come on and connect with us. Come talk to us. Let me see exactly where we're going. Let's get your information out there. Let's make sure your voice is heard. Let's make sure that whoever it is that may be watching the show, that God may tune them in. So hey, make sure that you're able to reach the people that God has told you to reach. And if you do not count it robbery, make sure you come on Fervently Creations, and let's talk about it. Another thing, if you want to be a blessing to the show, you can do so by Cash Apping me at $Tish0621. That is $TISH0621. And I thank you for the support, and I thank you for the blessings in advance. That's only if you want to. So those that just find this ministry a blessing, please do so. This is how he actually calls me. This is actually how he used me. He used me in the realm of media. And so, as she was stating earlier, it's so much negativity on social media. And so I am trying to be part of that change. And if you want to be part of that change, please reach out to us. We are merging with another company as well. And so things will shift. But if you want to be part of the ones that are going into social media and changing, make sure you reach out to me. Make sure you reach out so we can get you your own show and get it networked, and make sure that your voice is heard, that you're doing the Great Commission that he's called you to do, that you're reaching more than those that are in your household, in your neighborhood, or in your city, that you're able to get your message out to where you're reaching people worldwide. So with that being said, we will see you next week on Fervently Creations. Y'all have a great day.
My team rap Jesus, we about to go far. My team rap Jesus, my team go hard. My team rap Jesus, we about to go